Hi, this is Praveen. Now let us discuss about the history of periodic table. So this comes under the chemistry. So when we say chemistry, we could find various number of elements. In these elements, they would be placed in this periodic table. First of all, before going to the history of periodic table, let us discuss what is an element. Element is the simplest substance which is made up of the same kind of atoms. So it is the definition of elements. And as per the researches which were made by the scientists, we have a total of 118 elements. So we have 118 elements, and in these elements, from history, we will look how many elements were evolving. So after that, we will see the important scientists who had led this history of periodic table. Firstly, this elements classification was started in the year 1600 by one of the prominent chemists named Robert Boyle. In the year 1600. So what he did is that he has given the simplest definition of element, that element is a substance which cannot be divided into furthermore particles on heating. See, let us suppose a compound. A compound is nothing but the combination of elements is a compound. So let us suppose a compound, say CaO. On heating, so this is the symbol of heating. On heating, what happens? It changes to Ca plus O2. So if you heat an element, say sodium, its symbol is Na. So Na on heating, there will be no change. But there is a change in its state, that is liquid sodium. So on heating, there is a change in the state, but no change in the chemical properties. And the formed new substance is nothing but the liquid sodium, and the substance which was heated up is nothing but the sodium, solid state of sodium. So what Robert Boyle said, elements on heating, they cannot change into further more particles based on either chemical or physical properties. But there is a physical change, that is the state, but there is nothing change in composition, etc. So this is what this Robert Boyle's made experiments, and he has came to know about this. These things he had came to know. So now let us go on to the second classification of elements to 1789. So in 1789 we have a famous French chemist named Lavoisier. So this Lavoisier is to be considered as the father of modern chemistry because of his first classification to divide these elements into various groups. So now let's look how he has classified. At the time of 1789, we had only 33 elements. So he had 33 elements, and he has classified 33 elements under various groups. So he has classified elements under metals and non-metals. So on which property does he shifted or does he classified these elements? He has classified based on the physical properties of elements. What are those physical properties? Those physical properties are nothing but conductivity, the ductility, malleability, and we also have few properties like brittleness, etc. Based on those properties, he has classified as metals and non-metals. But his classification was a failure. Most of the scientists have rejected his classification. Why? Because he did not included metalloids. So metalloid is nothing but a substance which undergoes both the properties of metals and non-metals. And these metalloids, they were discovered far later after the classification of Lavoisier. So his classification was a failure. So it was the early attempts to classify the elements. Actually, the scientists wanted to classify the elements because we have 118 elements. So to study all the properties of 118 elements, it will be very difficult task. So for that, we have to divide them under various groups. So for that reason, the most of the scientists, they were thinking to classify the elements. So he has made the initial efforts to classify elements. And after Lavoisier, now let's go to the 19th century. So now let us begin with 1817. So in 1817 there was a famous chemist, German chemist named Daubernier. He was the first person to classify elements based on their atomic mass. What is atomic mass? Atomic mass is nothing but the mass of an atom of that particular element. Which element we consider? The atom that was present in that element. The mass of that atom is nothing but the atomic mass of that element. So this atomic mass is measured in atomic mass unit, AMU. So these are the units of atomic mass. And how does he classify? He has taken three elements which we call it as a triad. So tri means three. Tri means three, so he has classified them as three elements. In these three elements, we have three groups of elements in increasing order of atomic masses. Few examples for that are Li, Na, K, lithium, sodium and potassium. So what he done? He has taken the atomic masses. So the atomic mass of lithium is 7, atomic mass of sodium is 23, atomic mass of potassium is 39. So he has done something very interesting. He has taken the average of the first number and the last number. So 7 plus 39 by 2 will give us a value of 23, which 23 is equals to this 23. So here we have sodium's mass as 23, as you can observe here. That means he has said that the elements in these triads were having the same properties. See, if they react with oxygen, they form in 1:1 ratio. If they react, all these elements react with hydrogen, they also form 1:1 ratio. So like that, he has taken few physical and chemical properties. All these properties were matched in these triads. And few more examples for these triads are calcium, strontium, barium, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So these are the triads which the Daubernier has discovered. But his theory or his model of triads was proved wrong. Why? Why it was proved wrong? Because it was applicable only for few elements. If we consider few times, it would give us an approximate value. So here it is 40 for calcium's atomic mass, barium is 137. We would get the average as 88.5, but the atomic mass of strontium is 88. So there is an approximate value. So this theory of Daubernier's was rejected because of the approximate atomic mass, but the modern techniques can give the exact values. So another thing, all the elements having same groups cannot, all the elements in same group or all the elements with same properties, they cannot fit under these Daubernier's threads. So say we have fluorine, chlorine and bromine. Does they fit? They don't fit. Chlorine's atomic mass is 19, chlorine is 35.5, bromine is nothing but 80. So if we take average, it is not equals to 35.5. So that we can say that his theory was proved wrong because of the same group elements do not possess these traits. So this is about the Daubernier's threads. Now let's move on to the 1866 to Newland's law of octaves. So in 1866 we have an famous English chemist called Newlands. He was very much interested and excited to know about elements, and he is a very famous person in England as a musician. So he likes music and also he likes to study about chemistry. So he has linked between the chemistry and music. So let us see how does he do. In English, the Western style of music notes is nothing but it is something like this: do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So here you can observe the first letter, that is do, is repeating again. So he has arranged the elements in the same way so that they could get the equal and same properties. So he has placed few elements like that, and he has placed 56 elements in one table. So his table contains 56 elements. And the first element is hydrogen, and the final element in his table was thorium. And here we also have the Indian style, that is Sarigama Padanisa. it is also the same. Psi is repeating at regular intervals. So this kind of periodicity, here we have a periodic function which is called as the periodicity. So like that, he also find periodicity among the elements. So let us see first 20 elements of his periodic table. Hydrogen. Then at that time noble gases were not discovered. So noble gases were not present in this Newland's periodic table. And then we have lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and again to here he has came with fluorine, and neon was not discovered because it is a noble gas. Sodium. After sodium we have magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, and next we have chlorine. Argon was not discovered, potassium and calcium. So he has 20 elements, and this Newland's law of octaves is applied only up to 20 elements, and after that the periodic table is very different. It would contain the elements which were not similar properties with these elements. So here fluorine, carbon and hydrogen, these three elements are placed in a similar group because they have the valency of -1. Hydrogen also possesses +1, but when it reacts with the alkali metals, it has a valency of -1. So like that he has placed with the same properties. See, lithium, sodium and potassium, they have same properties. Oxygen and sulfur have same properties. Like that he has placed the elements, and they were occurring at the regular intervals. You can observe. So hydrogen after 8 elements, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and finally 8. So the 8th element is again the element with similar properties. That is what this Newland observed in his periodic table. So it is about the Newland's classification of elements. That is the Newland's law of octaves. So now let us go to the year 1867. In the year 1867, we have a famous chemist named Luther Meyer. This Luther Meyer is an English chemist, and he has done something interesting, and his classification is a graph between atomic mass and atomic volume. So he has plotted a graph like this, and in this way we have the atomic mass, and here we have the atomic volume. So as per his observations, he had found that alkali metals were at the top of the graph. So here we have the hydrogen and then a slope, and again here we have the lithium, and then it was coming down again, and finally it was increasing rapidly like this. So again we have the element named sodium, and again it was decreasing and increasing again, and at the top of the slope we have the potassium, and like that at finally he has came to know up to rubidium, and he has said that there were the elements. If we plot a graph between atomic volume and atomic mass, then what would happen? The alkali metals would come at the top. At the top of the graph we have the alkali metals which were coming. These alkali metals are called as the alkali metals because when they react with water they form the strong alkalis, but in alkaline earth metals they form weak alkalis when they react with water. And this atomic volume is nothing but atomic density by atomic mass. So it is about the Luther Meyer's curves. See, we have the curves like this. So this is called as the Luther Meyer's curves. Next, let's go to the famous chemist named Mendeleev. So in 1869 we have a famous chemist named Mendeleev. So this Mendeleev was a Russian chemist. He was a professor of chemistry at the St. Petersburg University, which is situated in Russia. And after that, he has done very interesting. He was the first person to write all the physical properties about the elements in various cards and group all them, and he has plotted a table. So in his periodic table, he has observed something. So firstly, his periodic table was based on atomic mass, atomic mass, we have seen what is atomic mass earlier, and in this atomic mass he had plotted the elements. He has plotted the elements like this, and also he has placed few in his periodic table. It is like 1, 2, 3, 4. In 4 we have the odd series and the even series. 5, in the 5 we have the odd series and even series. In 6 we have odd series and even series. And finally in 7 we have the odd series and even series. And at last in 8th we have the odd series and even series. Like that he has plotted a table which contains periods like this. So these are the periods. And here we have the groups. What are the groups that he made? He has made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and finally 7. So he has classified them based on chemical properties. Which chemical properties does he use? He has used few elements, oxygen and hydrogen. So he has classified them based on the reactions of the elements, oxygen and hydrogen. So the elements that were situated in this table, they will react with oxygen and hydrogen, and if they react with those elements, which type of things they would form? If it is in the case of first group, it would be R2O and RH. See, if we consider an example, say lithium, so we will get Li2O. If we take lithium itself, we would get LiH. So see here, it is also the same and it is also the same. But if we take sodium, it is also the same, Na2O and NaH. So this is lithium oxide, this is sodium oxide, and here we have the lithium hydride and sodium hydride. So like that he has placed elements like this based on the reactivity of oxygen and hydrogen. So this Mendeleev's periodic table was the initial efforts, and he had few advantages of his table. Now let us look at those advantages. So the first advantage of his table was he has placed few elements, few gaps in his periodic table in order to fill the periodic table. So in that particular gaps, he has placed few elements like Eka boron, Eka aluminium, and in this particular sentences we find Eka as common. Eka is nothing but one in the Sanskrit language, and he has kept it as Eka, and he has found a long gaps between two elements, and he thought that there should be an element which should be placed in this gap, and he has placed those elements as Eka boron and Eka aluminium. So it was his first advantage. And the second advantage of his periodic table is nothing but the initial efforts. He has put up the initial efforts to classify the elements. At that time, most of the people, they were confused to place the elements in the periodic table. But he has made this periodic table. But unfortunately, there were few failures in his table. So now let us look at those failures. So the first failure of his table was hydrogen, position of hydrogen. So in this position of hydrogen, Mendeleev did not give the exact position for hydrogen. So we have the hydrogen which resembles the properties of halogens and the alkali metals. But this Mendeleev he has placed in the halogens group. But in the modern periodic table, which is the periodic table that we follow today, the hydrogen is broken off from periodic table in few tables. But in few tables, we consider them under alkali metals. So it is about the position of hydrogens. Secondly, we have the actinoids and lanthanoids. These actinoids and lanthanoids, they were the inner transition metals. So he has included these actinoids and lanthanoids into his periodic table. So it was another drawback of his table. And the third one is the position of isotopes. Isotope is nothing but it is a form of the element which has same atomic number but the atomic mass differs. So in the case of isotopes, as I have earlier mentioned, that Mendeleev followed the atomic mass. Since there is the shifting in atomic mass in these isotopes, we have this isotopes does not fit in this Mendeleev's periodic table. So it was one of the drawbacks. So we have one more thing, that is based on the atomic mass itself. Since he has placed based on the increasing order of atomic mass, we have few elements like tellurium and iodine, which have alternate atomic masses. So they have to place, the iodine should be placed first and tellurium should be placed after. But he was placing the elements in increasing order, but he was also placing based on physical and chemical properties. So it is also one of the famous drawbacks. So these are the important drawbacks of Mendeleev's periodic table. So now let us go to the time period from 1913 to 1917. In this whole time period, there is one prominent person. He is Moseley. Moseley was an English chemist and he has drawn the modern periodic table. So his table was called the modern periodic table. Unlike the other people who has followed the normal atomic mass as the principle, he has followed something interesting. He has brought up the concept of atomic number. He has introduced the concept of atomic number and he has placed the elements based on the increasing order of atomic number. And also Moseley has proved that atomic number is more fundamental property of any element than the atomic mass. So the statement which I have told you now is nothing but the modern periodic law. So it was given by Moseley. So it was based on the atomic number and his periodic table is the table which we used to find now. And he has placed based on the ionization energy and group number. So in his periodic table, we find 7 periods and 18 groups. About this modern periodic table, we will discuss later about the table whole itself. But now let us discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this Moseley's periodic table, that is the modern periodic table. So firstly, advantages. All the mistakes in the Mendeleev's periodic table were covered in this modern periodic table. So now let us recall the advantages of modern periodic table, which were the disadvantages of this Mendeleev's periodic table. So first one is position of hydrogen. So as I have told you, hydrogen is sometimes broken off from the modern periodic table. It was given a special treatment in few periodic tables. And then the second one is nothing but actinides and anthonides. So in this actinides and lanthanides, he has given a separate column called the actinides and lanthanides for the inner transitional metals. So he has given this place for actinides and lanthanides at the bottom of the periodic table. And next we have isotopes. So isotopes, I have told you, the form of elements which have same kind of atomic number but different atomic mass. Few examples are, first one is carbon. In this carbon, its atomic number is 6. It is constant and its atomic masses are 12, 13 and 14. And the second example is hydrogen. So the atomic number of hydrogen is 1, but the atomic mass of hydrogen is 1, 2 and 3. So these are the examples of isotopes. Next let's go to the final anomaly, that is final disadvantage of Mendeleev's periodic table. So the final one, we have discussed that the elements tellurium and iodine, the iodine should be placed first and tellurium should be placed after. But as per the Mendeleev's periodic table, it is increasing order of atomic mass. But in this case, it was changed. These elements were placed based on atomic number and ionization affinity, that is ionization energy. Due to that reason, we have the final anomaly also to be cleared in this modern periodic table. So these are the advantages of modern periodic table. So there is no disadvantages of modern periodic table because it is the table which we consider now, and based on many researches that were done by Moseley, he has came to give up the modern periodic table from his 1913 to 1917 experiments. So once again, let us recall few laws. That is the modern periodic law. This modern periodic law states that atomic number is the more fundamental property than the atomic mass, which was proved by H.G.J. Moseley. And after that, we have the Mendeleev's periodic law, which is atomic mass is the fundamental property of any element. So it is about the modern periodic table. So in my upcoming videos, we were going to discuss about the modern periodic table, elements in modern periodic table, and a separate small kind of periodic table which I used to call it as a mini periodic table. If you are interested in this video, then like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel Explore with Praveen, and press the bell icon which is situated besides this subscribe button. Thank you.